Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something pretty powerful for personal savings. It's the 80-20 rule. You might know it as the Pareto Principle.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fascinating concept.
So, okay, let's unpack this a bit. The basic idea, right, is that roughly 80% of your results, they often come from just like 20% of your effort or your causes.
It shows up everywhere.
Totally. Like in business, they say 20% of customers might bring in 80% of the revenue.
Or even in relationships, maybe 20% of the things you do together create 80% of the happiness.
Exactly. So the question we're tackling today is what happens when you apply that thinking to your money? Specifically, this really intriguing idea that maybe 20% of your spending is causing like 80% of your financial stress or pain.
And what's so interesting there is how it just flips the script on, the usual budgeting advice. Normally we're told, track everything.
Right.
Every single coffee, every tiny subscription. Oh, that $2 thing you bought.
Oh, yeah, the nickel and diming approach.
Exactly. And this 80-20 view suggests, well, maybe that's not where the real leverage is. For a lot of folks, actually, that kind of super detailed tracking just leads to burnout.
Definitely. It feels restrictive.
Yeah, and you feel deprived, but you might not even be saving that much money. It's like focusing on the symptoms, not the root cause of the drain.
That's such a key point because I think so many people just give up on budgeting entirely because it feels like that, like a punishment. So this isn't about cutting out everything enjoyable then.
Not at all.
It's more about a smarter way to look at things, a more strategic view of your finances.
Precisely. It's a shortcut in a way.
A shortcut to being well-informed about where your money is really going, and it can lead to, pretty significant savings without needing like a PhD in spreadsheets.
Right.
It's about finding those big leaks, the real financial drains, not getting lost chasing every tiny little drip.
Exactly. Stop sweating the small stuff so much.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we find these high-impact spending areas in our own lives? Where do you even start?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Because the power of 80-20 is all about identifying those key leverage points. So yeah, the common examples are often things like housing costs or maybe how much you spend on food delivery or eating out.
Okay, the big obvious ones.
Right. Or those impulse buys on Amazon, they can add up fast. But it's also worth looking a bit deeper. Maybe it's high interest payments on, say, a credit card you're carrying a balance on. That's a leak.
Definitely.
Or maybe it's a bunch of small subscriptions. Each one seems tiny, but you add them all up. Suddenly it's a pretty big chunk of change every month that you've kind of stopped noticing.
Yeah, the subscription creep.
Totally. Or even, like you mentioned before, those, I'll just pop into Target trips.
Uh-oh, guilty.
And you walk out $100 lighter, right, week after week. It's not about one $5 item in that trip. It's the cumulative effect of that category of spending the unplanned Target run category.
That hits home. For me, it used to be bookstores, just browsing. Or maybe too many little digital game purchases online. You think, oh, it's just a few bucks here, a few bucks there.
Right.
But then you look at the total for that category at month end, and it's like, whoa, where did that come from?
Exactly. So it highlights that the 80-20 culprits aren't always single, huge purchases. Often it's a consistent habit within one or two specific spending categories.
Okay, so it's about the pattern.
Yes. The key isn't to micromanage every single transaction. It's really about pinpointing those two or three categories that are draining your wallet the most. Once you know what they are, that's where you focus your energy, optimizing those.
Okay, so the practical steps seem actually pretty manageable. You don't need super fancy tools.
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah.
Though tools can help speed it up.
So start by just like pulling up your bank and credit card statements for the last couple of months, maybe 2 or 3.
Yep. 2 or 3 months gives you a decent picture. Many banking apps now, or tools like Mint or YNA, they can actually help categorize stuff automatically for you.
Right, and then you just categorize, group the spending into broad areas.
Yeah, keep it simple. Think like housing, food, maybe splitting out groceries if that's big for you, transportation, entertainment, subscriptions, shopping, that kind of level.
Got it. Broad strokes.
Exactly. And here's where people sometimes get stuck. Don't stress about getting every single penny perfectly categorized. Is that coffee, food, or entertainment? For this exercise, it probably doesn't matter that much.
Okay, good to know. Perfection isn't the goal.
No, clarity is the goal. Just get a general sense. Then look at those categories and highlight the top 2, or maybe 3. Where did most of the money actually go?
Right. Find the biggest slices of the pie.
You got it.
And then, this is where the magic happens, right? You look at those top categories and you ask yourself that question. Okay, how could I reduce spending in just this one category by, say, 20%?
Exactly. Not eliminate it, just trim it. Find some fat to cut.
So, for example, if food delivery isn't draining your account, maybe you commit to cooking just 2 extra meals at home each week.
Perfect example. Or if housing is really high, maybe you explore, house hacking, renting out a spare room.
Okay, turning an expense partially into income.
Right. Or maybe it's your car. Could you switch to a cheaper lease next time? Or maybe even go car light, if possible. It's about finding your specific opportunities in your big categories.
And it's pretty amazing, isn't it, how much more money you can often free up by just trimming 20% off those top 1 or 2 areas.
Way more impact.
Compared to all the effort of trying to shave pennies off every little $3 purchase everywhere else.
Totally. You're tackling the biggest flow, not plugging tiny, insignificant drips. Much more effective use of your energy.
Makes sense.
So this really leads to the core question for you listening right now.
Yeah.
Where are your big financial leaks? And how could focusing on just those few areas using this 80-20 idea create the biggest impact for you?
That's the challenge.
And this is really crucial, kind of the bonus step that makes it stick. Once you free up that money, say that 20% you trimmed, automate it.
Yes. Pay yourself first.
Right. Set up an automatic transfer straight into your savings account.
Yeah.
Or into an investment account. Don't even let it sit in your checking account.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, into wealth,
Yeah.
exactly. Make it automatic. Take the decision-making out of it each month. That ensures the savings actually happen.
Yeah, that automation piece is huge. So, recapping here, the big takeaway is really about shifting focus. Instead of obsessing over all the small drips, the 80-20 rule guides you to find and fix the big financial leaks first.
Identify and optimize just those couple of categories, draining the most cash.
Right. And we talked about pulling your transactions, finding those top 2-3 categories, and just asking how to trim those by 20%.
Simple steps, potentially big results.
So the 80-20 rule, it's more than just a finance hack, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
It's really a powerful lens, a way of thinking, prioritizing impact over just sheer volume of effort.
It applies everywhere.
Yeah, so maybe a final thought to leave you with. Consider how applying this mindset, focusing on the vital few things that yield the most impact. How could that extend beyond just your money? How might it reshape other parts of your life? Work, health, relationships, aiming for smarter results, not just working harder and harder.
It's a great question to ponder. Where else can you find your 20% that delivers 80%?